Andy, what's your sense of David Stearns here, his willingness to do what it takes to add a true frontline starter this offseason?
David Stearns wants to win, and he's not alone. And at Citi Field, in the offices of the people who are obviously planning for this team, it's pretty clear, it's abundantly clear that they need help at the top of the rotation. David Stearns' job is to build a World Series championship roster. That's one of the jobs to do it. I think short of trading Nolan McClain, they would certainly talk about anything that comes up with the right deal. I keep thinking back, I know we've talked a lot about Tarek Skubal, but I think a lot about Freddie Peralta, who's got a year left in his deal, who they know from Milwaukee, who's, of course, another top-of-the-rotation guy. And then we'll see if they dip into free agency, too, with a Framber Valdez, who he's either a GM or is here meeting with teams. Both would be interesting, but I think it's probably the latter. So there's all kinds of top-of-the-rotation help that you can sign or trade for, and that's an area in which, of course, the Mets are going to be focused.
Jerry, how about you here? Framber Valdez is reportedly at these meetings. What do you make of Valdez being at the GM meetings?
I think it's a smart move. His character took a big hit with that weird cross-up with the catcher, the way he was nonchalant about answering it. It was one of the most bizarre things and one of the truly despicable things I've seen in a while. Obviously, it wasn't a big injury to the catcher, but it's just such a bad look for a guy that's looking to fit in for a team for 7, 8, 9 years. I think he's over there doing some polishing on his character, which he needs to be if you're going to commit that kind of money to a guy like that.
Yeah, it'd be one of the reasons why I haven't had him on my list, that cross up there. And what do you think of Valdez as a potential target for the Mets?
As you know, Sal, I have him on my list as a potential target for the Mets. And the reason is because I feel like the Mets need somebody who is reliable at the front of that rotation. This guy has delivered the second most innings in Major League Baseball over the past 4 seasons. The only one who's delivered more is Logan Webb, who is the workhorse of workhorses in the big leagues right now. I understand that there was a slip up there, and that I like the idea, as Jerry said, that he's doing some character rebuilding at the GM meetings. Good on him, good on his agent if he's the one who thought about it. But this guy is very talented, and this is a clear need for the Mets. It's going to cost money, and that's fine. They won't have to touch the precious prospects. So I say bring a guy like this in, put him at the top of the rotation, and just let him give you 190 innings next year.
Very talented pitcher. This was more than a slip up in my book. I thought that Houston clubhouse went totally off the rails after that moment, and there's a reason they finished the way that they did. There's a Framber Valdez who started the year with an ERA more in line with the ace Framber Valdez. He had a 2.6 ERA in his first 21 starts. His final 10, it ballooned over 6. Clearly, he was part of this spiral in Houston, and the Mets are trying to fortify things and improve their clubhouse. I don't want to add another guy. Yeah, he's trying to make things right now. I don't want to add another guy with question marks in Framber Valdez for major money at the top of your rotation. So this worried me when I saw him showing up his backup catcher, who ended up getting sent down a couple of days later. And he not only shook him off, didn't even shake him off, just went completely against his recommendation. He allows a grand slam to Grisham. 2 pitches later, he's throwing at him. So I don't want that guy on my team.
Jerry, which starting pitchers would you like to see the Mets go out there and target?
I think Framber's a great target. I think you can get him at a little bit of a cheaper price because of what happened, and I think he's a better guy than that really bad look. But I'm a dreamer, man. I made it to the big leagues from small town Ohio. I don't want a free agent necessarily. If I'm going to trade for a guy and get rid of a guy like Nolan McClain, I want the best that's out there. Give me Paul Skeens. Make it happen. Make that magic, man. He's a young guy. This is the guy that you wanted in a Yamamoto, a young guy about to reach free agency. You know, we've got a couple of years control. We're in win now mode with where Lindor is, with where Juan Soto's contract is. You can sign him the way they did with Francisco Lindor. Again, this is New York. This is Stevie Cohen. This is David Stearns making the biggest splash that you can. Go out and get the big dog for Pittsburgh.
I'd love to see Skeens over Skubal. All right, Andy, one more thing for you here. You asked Stearns about Kodai Senga's future. How is Stearns viewing Senga?
Well, first, I echo that about Skeens for sure, Jerry. I think that's a great idea. The Mets' impression from the Pirates is that Skeens is not available, but why not keep calling? Because not only have Skeens, but as a breakthrough kind of pop culture figure with Livy Dunn, his girlfriend, reminds you of a younger version of the Verlander and Kate Upton pairing. So the whole thing just works so perfectly. If only he were available. But maybe things would change. As far as Senga goes, yeah, as you guys will recall, Stearns spoke about Senga as unrealistic about a month ago in terms of counting on him for 30 starts. So I asked today, would you consider him as part of your bullpen? And Stearns said, well, we're consider Kodai part of our rotation as of right now. So I thought that, you know, on the heels of our colleague and BNMY buddy Will Salmon's reporting yesterday that there's been some trade interest in Senga, I thought that was an interesting polishing up of Senga's reputation a little bit. Maybe that gets written, maybe there's some headlines, Senga's a starter again, and maybe that makes him slightly more appealing to other clubs. That is how this thing can obviously work, as you all know sometimes, the way GMs speak to us.